Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Great to meet everybody on this channel. Today, I have the great pleasure to having a session with Jerry Libbin, who is the current president of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce and long esteemed associate of ours. So, in on RDS Team, you already have come to know us to be a company in the market for that was recognized as a Fortune 5,000 company for fast growth, and we have many relationships like the one that we have with Jerry and the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce to be thankful for. So, that long introduction. So, Jerry, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Gustavo. It's a pleasure to be with you and part of the show today.
I appreciate it. You look great, by the way. And, Jerry, share with me and with South Florida a little bit about yourself and your education, your passions, and what has brought you to be in charge of the Miami Beach Chamber today.
Well, it's first of all, I've been now the president and CEO of the Chamber for the past 13 years. But a little about myself. I'm married. My wife Raquel is Dominican. She and I got married in 1986.
Nice.
So it's been now 36 blissful years. We have two beautiful children. My daughter turned 32 on February 4th, and my son is just turning 30 on February 22nd. So they're both doing incredibly well. My daughter is a realtor with Douglas Elliman, and my son is with McKinsey Miami as a consultant. So
that's terrific.
Globetrotter all over the place.
That is yeah. I'm assuming that in that kind of position you're exposed to.
And so my own background, I really started in the nonprofit world in Jewish community center work, where I moved here from Binghamton to New York, where I was the assistant executive director of that Jewish community center for 6 years. And then I opened up the Jewish Community Center here in Miami Beach in 1982. And after 7 years there, I went into finance, and I had my own securities business and insurance business, which I still have the insurance licenses. I gave up the securities licenses because when I got hired in 2010 as the president and CEO of the Chamber, that's about 2 jobs all by itself. And at the time, I was also a city commissioner. I forgot to mention,
yeah,
I was elected in 2005 to represent the city of Miami Beach as a Miami Beach elected official, city commissioner. And I served 2 terms. So from 2005 to 2013, I was a city commissioner. And in 2010, I was also began my presidency of the Chamber of Commerce. So a very busy, hectic schedule, as you can imagine.
I can see. I know it's hard to keep up with you with all your involvements, but you've seen so many changes in Miami Beach too. I mean, I'm sure that the whole community, and I know you're very plugged into what's going on in all areas of Miami Beach. But tell us a little bit about just a bit of the state of affairs of the city of Miami Beach. What are some of the important issues that are affecting the city nowadays?
So, always traffic. And then the second most important thing is traffic. And then the third most important thing is traffic. In real estate, they say location. So people are very, very concerned about traffic. Also, we have a really, not just Miami Beach, but I think the entire country and certainly Miami-Dade County, it's really gotten to a crisis for attainable housing. The price of housing for rents and for purchase have just, gotten out of the stratosphere. Miami Beach was always very expensive because we're, an island, and the land is extremely valuable and expensive to buy and build on. So the developers, when they build a project, they start with multi-million-dollar, units. It's not like for the average guy who's going to be a police officer, a teacher, a firefighter, or any normal, hotel employee. Really, you're not buying a condo in Miami Beach. So it's gotten more and more expensive for renting in condos and for the buildings, and that's really a major problem even for our industry, because it's hard to hire employees. When you think about, there was an article a couple of years ago talking about a woman who was a housekeeper at the Fontainebleau. I don't know if you remember the story. I think she lived in Hialeah, and she had to get up at 3 a.m. every day to take the first bus, which took her to downtown to transfer to a second bus, which then took her to Miami Beach to take a third bus so she could be at the Fontainebleau to start her work shift at 7 a.m. And then she worked until like 5 o'clock and had to do these 3 transfers, not getting home till probably 8 or 9 at night to make dinner for her family, and then start all over again, getting up at 2 o'clock to do the buses again. So, and that's for probably like a $15 an hour job, to make beds. So it doesn't work. Restaurants are having a very difficult time, hiring dishwashers and waiters and waitresses. Used to be 3 and 4 people could share an apartment on Miami Beach, and maybe it was a $1,800 or $2,000 2-bedroom apartment, and they could all scrape by. And now that 2-bedroom apartment is like $3,400, and you can't make it if you're making under $15 an hour, even who knows at whatever salary. It's very expensive. So housing is a problem, traffic is a problem, but we are blessed. Miami Beach is still the cat's meow. People from all over the world would give, their life savings. They save up to go to Miami Beach for a week and think, wow, when can I come back? So we live here. We overlook, so much of the things that other people, we pick on so many things that other people overlook when they come here. It doesn't seem to bother them that there's traffic. That the hotels are expensive.
Well, there's only one Miami Beach, and we've all known we've grown to have it in our backyard. But for people all over the world, this is like really a dream spot, and we're very privileged to be here.
And Gustavo, you asked me, if you asked me what's changed. So back in the early and mid '80s when I got here, you could honestly say that there were really seasons. Even though the weather was always great, but there was a high season and a low season and a shoulder season in terms of the rates of the rooms and the hotels and whatnot, and how busy the city was. And honestly, we don't have seasons anymore. On any given weekend, our population in the city grows from we're about 88,000 permanent residents, but we could go to 250 to 300,000 in any weekend. It's not like just Memorial Day or just July 4th. It's, between Boat Show, which is next week, and Basel and the Aspen Institute, which is the week of March 3rd, and Goodwood, Car Festival is going to be, and concerts. And I mean, there's always something. And it's just, at any given weekend, a couple 100,000 people at a time.
That's incredible. And I know that the chamber plays a pivotal role in divulging that information and putting, connecting dots so that all these events, take place seamlessly. But among all the other things that the chamber is doing, I was reading a little bit about, some of the educational principles that you are spearheading. Tell us a little bit about the foundation and the educational campaigns that the chamber endorses.
Sure. Thanks, Gustavo. So the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, like most chambers, is what's called a 501c6. That's how the IRS classifies us. So we are a business nonprofit, but not a charitable nonprofit. So I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to give accounting advice. But if you were a company and you spent marketing dollars to market or promote your company at one of our events, you probably could write that off as a business expense, a marketing expense. But if you wrote a check to the chamber, it's not a charitable tax deduction. On the other hand, our chamber owns a 501c3, which is a not-for-profit charitable institution. And that 501c3 that we own is called the Miami Beach Chamber Education Foundation. Mm-hmm. And that foundation is pretty much exclusively dedicated to public schools that are within what's called the Miami Beach feeder pattern. And that's 8 schools, 6 of which are physically located in Miami Beach. 1 is in North Bay Village, that's called Treasure Island Elementary, and 1 is in Bay Harbor Island, Ruth K. Broad. But they're still part of the Miami Beach feeder pattern, as the children from those 2 schools will ultimately end up, if they stay in the public school system, at the Miami Beach Senior High. So they feed into the Miami Beach school system. And so our Education Foundation does a tremendous job, and we focus on all kinds of programs. The largest ones, we do a mental health program. We provide mental health counselors in all of the 6 Miami Beach schools. That's a program that is over $150,000 a year, where we partner with the city of Miami Beach to pay for counselors to go a couple days a week to each of the schools to identify different mental health issues. Thank God we have not yet had any kind of a shooting,
Good.
In our community. Hopefully that will never happen, but you don't know. And a lot of times when you see, how those things evolved, you find out that the child that did the shooting, God forbid, he was bullied or she was harassed or, whatever. And so we try to identify those things with the mental health counselors before we have, a greater tragedy. We also have a nursing program, which I started back in 2011 or 2012. We competed for a national prize, which we were fortunate. We won first prize, competing against 30 other cities to win a $30,000 grant to work on an issue within your community that we wanted to resolve. And what I became aware of is that some of our schools did not have a nurse. And, you and I are, up there a little bit. When we went to school, I'm sure there was a nurse in our school, right? We always had a nurse. We had a principal and we had a gym teacher. Well, there are no gym teachers anymore. Now they just throw a ball out and kids go to recess. The schools cut back on everything. Teachers have to bring their own art supplies in. They cut back on all kinds of supplies. And half the schools don't have nurses. So we competed for this contest that was sponsored by Aetna. As I say, we won. It was a $30 prize. And what I wanted to do was to hire a nurse at North Beach Elementary, which didn't have a nurse. And we did win. But then I found out that we were not allowed to do that. And we had to, if we were going to hire a nurse, it had to be through the Borinquen Medical company. And it cost $90,000. And we had two other schools that didn't have a nurse. So we went ahead and we raised $270,000 and we got the nurse in all three schools.
Oh, nice. Okay, very nice.
That program has continued today since 2012, and we've expanded to include the mental health program. Something that we're currently doing, very, very large program. We found out that Miami Beach Senior High did not have a program that is nationally acclaimed called Pro Start. And the Pro Start program is one in which juniors and seniors are trained to be eligible to be hired right out of high school in high-paying jobs in our restaurants and in our hospitality industry. They learn how to manage restaurants, hotels. And interestingly, there were only about 6 schools in all of Dade County that had this Pro Start program. So we visited Beach High and we saw the culinary arts kitchen, and the equipment was like 1950s hot plates and everything. We said, you know what? That's really a shame. And if we're going to create a Pro Start program here, we want the kids to have top of the line, state of the art equipment, just like if they went into one of our high end restaurants, they should be working on the same exact equipment so they're ready to go to work. So we priced it out and we committed to raising $300,000 through our education foundation to purchase all brand new equipment and donate it to Beach High. And in part of doing that, we got the school board to commit to pay for all of the infrastructure improvements, the hoods, the electric, the plumbing, the architectural design, and all of that. So they're in for $960,000, and we're in for $300,000. I'm very pleased to tell you that we approached the city of Miami Beach and asked them for a match on the first $100,000 we raised. Asked them to match it, which they did. We've raised an additional $30,000, so we've currently raised $230,000. And the construction begins April 1st. That the school board will be starting the renovations. And we have just recently submitted a grant proposal, actually went in today, to both the House and the Senate in Florida for the balance of the $70,000. And we're optimistic that will be approved if the governor doesn't redline it.
Well, that is a terrific effort. And it goes right along what you were talking about, educating tradesmen in the hospitality industry to serve the community that visits Miami Beach. So and I'm sure many of them are Miami Beach residents. It will help tremendously to acquire those employees working in local jobs, being properly trained and working well. You touched upon a couple of things that I also wanted to share with you. When we talked about the educational foundation, and I know all the good that you guys are doing, we try to do a little bit of good as well. We actually currently have a campaign in which we will fundraise. It's not a fundraise, I should say. It's a donation of painting kits for children, and this we call the Keto Paints. And if my assistant can put the link to the website, that's something that would definitely love to share information with you and with all the other members of the Miami Beach Chamber, in which anybody, it could be a mom, it could be somebody involved with the school, they can submit the request for a donation, and we will donate in our website. There you go. Thank you. For that, it's just a very simple form. We also have a foundation, very much like your, like it's not a 501c, but it's a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we ask for is, the name of the organization, some of the reasons why you would want that donated. Then one of our representatives will bring these painting kits. These are painting kits that are very neat because we call them, they don't make a mess. So the pencil, the brush in itself has the water, so the kids can paint different colors and encourages creativity for all the children. And that's something that we're willing to, again, we're doing that as well to give back to.
Well, that's really beautiful, Gustavo. And if you would like to partner with our foundation, I'm sure I would have, willing takers in our elementary school grades. We've got 6 of those schools that are elementary, and you just tell me how many you want to donate. We can pick one school, one grade. It could be third grade, second grade.
Okay, so this is a perfect conversation to have, and make sure to share all the rest of the information with you. And again, the website and that what we're looking is for people like you, like-minded, to help us spread out the message. I'm a huge believer that if you do good will come in return. And every opportunity that we have to get involved in a cause to help others, we do so. So, Jerry, you and I have met quite a few years ago, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that relationship that we've developed over the years. And I know, sometimes I'm embarrassed to bring it up, but ultimately, we've been servicing the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, and I think you probably better tell the story a little bit better than I do.
Gustavo, it'd be my pleasure, because you really have been a hero for me personally. I have to say, I mentioned that I'm now 13 years here at the Chamber of Commerce, and I was hired in March of 2010. And I was a city commissioner at the time, as I also said. So it was a very hectic time. And when I first got hired, our gala, which is our biggest event of the year, was scheduled for May 10th. I still remember, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm hired, March 10. And I'm 2 months later, we have our gala.
Yeah, a big event.
And they'd only sold 40 tickets. I'm like, oh my God, the budget was to sell 400 tickets. And one of the honorees still hadn't been picked. And I'm like, oh my God. So all I had time to do was to work on that gala. And once I got through, the gala, which we made a tremendous success, we ended up with 600 tickets. I started looking at the various contracts, that we had, because I knew nothing about, the financial condition of the chamber. And I saw that we had a contract with the company that gave us our copiers, and we were paying about, I don't know, $1,200 or $1,300 a month for 2 copiers. And I thought to myself, that's like a mortgage payment. It's like 2 car payments. I said, oh my God. And I don't remember if you had reached out to me, or I'm not sure how we met.
I believe that we ran into each other at a BNI meeting, which was a
BNI
great
meeting. And you came over and you said, let me take a look at what you have. And you were an absolute godsend. You were literally the first business connection that I made here at the chamber. And you were so tremendous. You basically said, listen, here's what I can do for you. And you said, these machines, one is due back. The lease comes off like in, 18 months. You have to hold on to that for 3 months. Then I'll take it and I'll store it for you. And when it's time, I'll pay and I'll ship it back to whoever it was from. The other one I can take now, and I can ship it back in 3 months. In the meantime, don't worry. I'm going to give you 2 beautiful refurbished machines that are much better than what you have. And you charge me, like, should I say?
Well, whatever. No, much lesser amount. That's for sure.
How about $350 a month for both machines? And you gave me the ink and the paper. Now I'm getting you in deep trouble.
No, it's no trouble at all. We love to share good experiences, and obviously very kind of you sharing it with us and an audience, because ultimately many times when it comes out of a customer or a person that has been benefited from from RDS, it is a much better message. But
Well,
I
I,
think
I
that
can absolutely say that, just given the numbers that I gave you, and it's now 13 years, that you have saved us over $100,000 in the time of our relationship, over 100,000, because it went from about 13,000 or so a year to about 4,000 a year. So 9,000 a year times 13, whatever that is, it's a lot of bananas that you saved us. Thank you
it's a
so
big
very, very
number,
much.
and for us, this doing this conversation sometimes help us convey the your word to others that we can help, and I always say it's never a guarantee. Let's take a look, let's analyze, let's find out in what areas we can help. In our case, we were able to do so and help the chamber reduce expenses with
But I think
pensions.
besides the expenses, Gustavo, because you're very modest, I also want to say that it's more than, I mean, the money was tremendous, but it's more than the money, because frankly, if the service wasn't good, then the money is of little value. Anytime we've had, and there are very few issues we've ever had, but when we do have an issue, you send people out, they take care of it. I think once you change the machine for us, but uh, you know, they're right on the spot if there's an issue. But the fact that we have two machines and they do everything, they staple, they collate, I mean, it's tremendous. Can't say enough.
That's incredible. Thank you for that comment and that endorsement. It really means a lot to us. Throughout the years, I mean, sometimes we say, what more can we do to help or be involved in the chamber? But what you're doing here today is a message I would like to spread to others, because I think we can bring some benefit to it.
I
Um,
honestly, anyone who's watching this and is thinking about it or has copiers, I would say there's zero reason you're doing a disservice to your company or to your employees if you don't at least, get a quote and get a check, because I would have never in 100 years thought that we could save that kind of money. I mean, so, you owe it to yourself to at least get a check. It costs nothing to get a quote and to see you'll probably get an upgrade and save money besides. So no harm in checking. That's what I say.
Well, that is great, and my God, you did such a great commercial for us, because
Where do you get my bill?
well, like I said before, we're here to help, and the what we look for is for other organizations that have issues, or maybe they don't know that they have issues, to help them analyze their current situation and come up with a recommendation. In I've said it before. If anybody reaches out to us, it's like, it may not be the right time now, but at least have a friend in the business and somebody you can rely on and trust to give you the proper advice, and that's really what makes us different. And we've been very successful in growing our company based on the relationships that we build, and our relationship, the relationship with the Miami Beach Chamber and with you and with all your staff, it's been terrific. We're very proud to be in this position. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the future for we're talking about Miami Beach and the future for Miami Beach. You're very close to what is going on in the business world. What are some of the objectives that you feel that you're as an organization are going to be heading on in the future, and enlighten a little bit of the audience about some
Sure.
of those things.
So some of the issues that the chamber has taken positions on are the additional development of Class A office space. And if that, some people may not be aware what that is. If you're looking at new construction, high-end companies that are moving to Florida from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, California, they want to have high ceilings, at least on the ground floor, maybe 20, 30-foot ceilings. And a lot of the, old inventory, that's just not possible in older buildings. And you're not going to compete for that business to move and open up a business in Miami Beach unless you're able to provide that kind of quality building. So the zoning did not allow it in most of the city. So we had to lobby for that. We've been successful as a chamber, and there are a number of places now in the city of Miami Beach where Class A office space is permitted that it was not previously allowed. We still need to create more Class A office space, because otherwise that business goes to Wynwood or Miami or elsewhere. And it brings high paying jobs, people that can afford, it's a double-edged sword. Those are the people that can afford to live in the apartments that others can't.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
You've got the apartments anyway. Someone needs to live in them. And you've got, tremendous upside in terms of additional dollars that get spent in the community. When someone making a few $100,000 moves into the city, into a condo, whatever, they usually, their family, they spend money in the grocery store and the restaurants and whatever else. So continue.
So you have to have the buildings. You also have to have the infrastructure, right, to support that, and all to support the latest and greatest communication, internet speeds and whatnot.
Right. But we've also, specifically been working on enrichment in the way of cultural attributes in our city. Years ago in 2001, we were supposed to have the first Art Basel in Miami Beach. And that was when we had the 9/11, tragedy, and it got canceled. So the first year really ended up being 2002. All the money from Art Basel had already been planned and spent. And so they lost. It took like 3 years before they actually even broke even to make up for all the money they lost with no show in 2001.
Wow.
But people had considered Miami Beach and Miami, frankly, as a cultural wasteland. But I think there was a seminal moment when Art Basel, decided to renew for 5 more years. And then we had the PAM Museum open up downtown. The city of Miami Beach and the Frost Museum, the Adrian Arsh Center about 25 years ago. And the city of Miami Beach, under the leadership of our current mayor, Dan Gelber, and all of the officials, have really been dedicating themselves to finding more and more ways to enhance our cultural institutions in Miami Beach. We want to be known as a place where people can come and live and work and play, and not just come and visit and leave. There has to be something more than just go to the beach and party and drink all night. That's all fine. Not against any of that, but you need the family things. You need the cultural things. And as a community, we, by over 66%, voted to pass a bond issue for $139 million of cultural bonds. And these dollars will all be spent to give significant upgrades to the various cultural institutions we have: the Bass Museum, the ballet building, you name it, the North Beach Band Shell, the Byron Carlisle. So all of the cultural institutions are getting many millions of dollars to either provide new programming or substantially upgrade facilities that they have that are in need of upgrade. So, we really are on the cusp, and I think already over the hill, over the corner, of being recognized globally as a wonderful city for cultural and entertainment as well.
That is excellent. Such a great rainbow of cultures that we have in Miami Beach, and now we will have them also represented and create really a home. That's what city attracts and maintains people by the cultural events that they can offer. And I'm glad that you're doing all those things. Jerry, I promised to take just a few minutes of your time. I didn't want to take all day. I know you're a busy man. And I want to thank you again for joining this RDS Talks. Like I told you, it'll be nothing more than a conversation. Your endorsement has always been a motivator for me, and a motivator to do better and to do better for others. And I'm very pleased of having accomplished that with the chamber. So I wanted to. We're going to put a couple of links in there and make sure that there's a link to the chamber, and so that people can really find out more about the chamber and about some of the programs that it offers. And we would like to ask anybody doing business in Miami Beach, or thinking about doing business in Miami Beach, or in the general, to reach out to the Miami Beach chamber, where they're going to find an organization that is really there to support them. At the same time, if you can help us to all your network of contacts to spread out this message, we have the Keto Pain Foundation, the Keto Pain program that we're doing under the RDS Team Foundation, and many others, and would love to just spread the word and get more people benefiting from that.
Well, that would be great. And if I may, you know, anyone who's interested could please go to our website. It's loaded with information, miamibeachchamber.com. You can scroll around. You can see a list of our members. You can see our leadership. You can, you know, see the activities. There's a calendar. Those are our various councils. We have a council for almost any kind of business, and all of the meetings are basically open to people to join and participate. But you can log on to our calendar of events and scroll forward and back and see, you know, there's something going on almost every single day. Tomorrow morning at 8:00, we have a real estate council meeting. So, you know, always something going on. And we appreciate, Gustavo, the opportunity to join you today.
Thank you so much, Jerry. You have a great day, and we'll be in touch as usual. And once again, thank you again for your words of encouragement.
Thank you. Be well, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Bye-bye.